I thought this would be a perfect next step for me. But when I got rejected, I was like kind of lost. Like, what should I do now? But interestingly, in the back of my head, I was kind of, I don't know, comforted because I knew somehow I would end up in the perfect place.
What was it this time when you went to the US and met your friend there?
After, quitting the first job, I had a whole time for myself. I had a lot of time in my hands. So I went to the States to meet my friend. And
also Korean friend, I guess?
Yes, my Korean friend.
My Korean friend.
Yeah, she's Canadian, by the way, though.
Oh, Canadian.
Yeah, she's Canadian Korean, though. But still, she's Korean. Yeah, so I went to see her senior show, and that time, again, my sister's friend entered the storyline.
A different friend or the
different
same one?
friend. Wow, I mean, my sister really impacted my life in many ways, but I also met my sister's really good old best friend, and she was studying back in the States. She was studying education IT in the grad school. And while I was meeting her and having all this conversation, how's life, blah blah blah, what kind of experience I had in Korea, and she was like talking about her school and what kind of studies what she studies at her school. And I thought it was like a perfect fit for me to like that school also it was like a 1-year degree, but it gave 3 years visa.
Wow.
But I knew that in the state, the most biggest problem when you come to the state, it's visa. So, and I also knew that, at certain point of my life, I wanted to go to the state and work there. So I thought maybe this is like a right timing for me to go to a state and study more about early childhood education. And
which school was it?
Harvard.
Oh, you wanted to go to the Harvard. Yes. Wow.
So I was like, and also the Harvard, that school, grad school, also worked very closely with Sesame Street. And I was also very interested in the work of Sesame Street.
Yeah, maybe for those who don't know what Sesame Street is.
Oh, do you know the Cookie Monster?
No.
You don't? Okay, where do I even start?
I know Elmo.
Elmo, yeah. So, I don't know. So I think you can describe it this way. Like Sesame Street is like the oldest kid content producing company back in the States. I think its head office it's located at New York. And I think it's like a first company that used like a puppet as a mainstream to make a children program. So, and also they do publishing, they do so much different programs for kids. And it's like, I was genuinely interested because like they work with kids and they do a lot of education program and they have a long history. So I knew that because I worked at startup company with a smaller team, for my next step, I wanted to work in a bigger company that had a longer history and had a bigger team and working with a bigger project, so that because that's a totally different learning process. So I was interested because Harvard, Sesame Street, it had a very good reputation. It had a very big name to it. So I think I was more like very captivated because of that as well, just to be honest.
So you decided to apply for it, right?
Yes, and I came back to Korea and I started preparing for the grad school.
How did it look like? Like what did you have to do? How long did this process take?
So I think it took about 8 months in total. And I had to write an essay that's called SOP. It's just explaining who I was and what kind of why I want to apply to that school and like what I want to study, what I want to achieve. It's like telling the college or the grad school who I am, why I want to go there, and also I had to prepare for the TOEFL test as well. And also I had to earn my earn money to be able to go and study there for a year because I'll be not be able to work there. So I had to earn a certain amount of money to prepare for my tuition and my living cost. Yeah,
That sounds really tough. So I guess like your whole day was fully planned.
Yeah, so in the beginning, because I did not work, I started a day with studying my TOEFL and prepare for my SOP, and also to earn the money, I did a lot of tuition. So, but interestingly, during that time, I got offered a new job to the company that I'm currently working at right now. Spoiler alert. But it was like a company, it was education IT company, and it was fastest growing education IT company in Korea, and they specially targeted to middle and high school. So it was not like totally relate with my target group, but still I was genuinely interested to learn because Korea is known to be an IT powerhouse. So before I go to the state, I really wanted to experience like what is a reality of like education IT in Korea. So, and also I had to earn my living anyways and do my savings. So I thought, okay, I can study and also work at the same time. It's gonna be tough, but I can manage it. So I started working there as an on-tech teacher. So basically, on-tech teacher is you are teaching a lot of kids, a lot of students online using the company's own system. So I used to work, but working as a teacher, I kind of struggled because
I thought you were good with kids.
I love kids. Till now, I really love kids, but I think I love kids and I really love directly interacting with them. But I think being a teacher, I could really see that I cannot use my full potential with that job or occupation. So, but I knew that was temporary. It's not gonna last forever. So I was just trying to be patient. And I thought that through that experience, I can be a better planner, better producer, having that like a direct contact how students learn. So
it was like this long process of 8 months, you working and studying for your exam and also writing your essay, and at the end you managed to submit your documents.
Yes.
What was the result?
Yeah. I think my facial emotion reveals what was the result. So I got rejected.
Wow. How did you feel after so much work, putting so much work?
Can I just briefly mention like how my schedule was back then so they can empathize?
Sure.
So basically, my work, because I was a teacher, it started at 2 p.m. and ended at 11 p.m. So before I started work, I woke up very early and studied my TOEFL, and then I went for work. And when it ended at 11 p.m., I came back home and went to 24-hour cafe and wrote my SOP.
SOP, which is the essay.
The essay.
Yeah.
So, but I think because I knew I did my best, I gave my full 100%. When the result came out, I wasn't regretful about anything because I gave my full self. I did my best. So, and I don't know, I was like, I thought this would be a perfect next step for me. But when I got rejected, I was like kind of lost. Like, what should I do now? But interestingly, in the back of my head, I was kind of, I don't know, comforted because I knew somehow I would end up in the perfect place that would suit me, that would suit me and that I would be satisfied of. And when one door closes, other door open. So I thought, okay, let's see how my life turns out.
And did another door open?
Yes.
Of course.
Yes, of course. Guys, Always. It's always like, I think it's like a life, always life mechanism. So then right next day, I got offered I got offered to transfer department. So I was working as an on-tech teacher, which I cannot fully like use all my working backgrounds and my major, but this new department was literally like a new department for our company as well. So as I mentioned, our company was targeting middle and high school students, and this department was trying to target elementary school students.
Which is your
my target group. I mean, I don't want to say target group, but whom I want to teach and create content for. So
that department was basically created for you.
Yes, exactly. And they hired me. So a little backstory, and was before I heard the news, I was actually auditioning for a presenter. So my team leader back in that company, knew I'm a jolly and fun, bright girl, and she knew that I can speak English kind of fluently. So she recommended me as one of the presenter in that new department to be a presenter or a teacher for one of their education program. So I met the head of director there, and he was auditioning me for the program. Oh, and this was the exact outfit I wore when I was auditioning for that presenter. And I was like, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, but he read my resume, and he knew that I had kind of the working experience of a producer before I came to that company. So after auditioning, he kind of sat me down and he was asking me this question about how do you foresee the education he was asking this question that you would ask for the producer. He was asking me what do you think is the most important thing when you make a content? I was answering all these questions because I knew all the answers. So he knew my working background. So he was actually planning to interview me, not also as a presenter, but also as a planner. But only he knew that. So I was answering this question, and he kind of liked all my answer and knew that I really had a lot of working experience for this. And he kind of interviewed again, looking at my portfolio. And he really liked that I was very hands-on and knew how to create content from soup to nut. So, and he really he said that he really liked how I communicate with all the editors and designers while producing that content. So that's why he later offered me, then right next day he offered me to shift department. And it was not common at the time in my company. There were no people. There were really less people, a handful of people who shift department from on-tech teacher to other department. So it was a very unique offer. But I shift department, I transferred department, and when I started working there, it was exactly what I did in my previous job.
Oh, so you could check the list again?
Yeah, so my direct boss, my supervisor, was not a female this time, but he had a lot of backgrounds in creating education content for Korean students. So once again, I thought this was a perfect opportunity for me to learn better.
Do you think it was better this way, or do you still feel a bit of regret not going to Harvard?
So I think the more I work in that department, I really can see why it was a perfect, it's better for me to stay here instead of going to Harvard. It's because every month, because our education IT industry is growing really fast in Korea, so every month is different. So because our department is a very new department, so every month we're growing so much. So I think this is something that you cannot learn from textbook. And as a producer, because I want to do this in long term. I really love this industry. I love what I do. So I really want to be more I want to like, I think I'm gonna like, this is like, I don't know, what do you say, like my dream job. So I knew I'm learning so much, and I know that this would be a really like strong foundation to be a really good producer, professional producer. Yeah, going back to Harvard and studying about early childhood education would help me, and I think that would lead to me a different journey. But I think for me now, like I'm experiencing and learning so much what's like I think I'm like so grateful about. So yeah.
Wow, that's a really nice
yeah,
story.
I'm really content, really grateful that I did not go to this Harvard. Yeah, and I'm not spending money. I'm earning money. I'm just kidding. But still, I'm just saying that I'm really grateful. Yeah. But like I feel like later on I can always, if I really want to study in specific area, I can always go to the States or any other grad school. But but I need to mention this. But now I see that Harvard grad school, where I was trying to apply, they more concentrate not on producing section, but on like, what do you say, like the brain, the information.
Brain science. Okay.
Yeah, they're trying to teach and produce this producer who can concentrate on more like this intellectual area. But for me, I know that intellectual section is very important for me as well, but I'm a more like hands-on person. I have that. If you say this, there's the intellectual section and there's this designing section. I'm more on this area. So I would have not be able to be a person when I was writing this this essay, I kind of knew that this Harvard, what they're teaching was not a perfect fit for me, and I had to do the engineering producing studies on the side if I have to study there. So, but in this department, I'm doing exactly what I want to do, and I'm learning so much every week, every day, because there's so much project going on. So yeah,
that reminds me also of my story.
Oh, really?
So I came to Korea, and I also thought I wanted to do a startup, and I was always this person who was creative and like wanted to start something new. But then I thought I should study. And also because of the visa, it's not so easy to get a visa in Korea. So I thought doing an MBA would be the right thing. And then there's this scholarship, Global Korean Scholarship, which gives you 1 year language study and 2-3 years of, the MBA would have been a 1.5 years program. And they would finance it. So I was like, wow, that's great. I'd love to do it. And so I started applying. The only issue was that I only had 1 month until the deadline. So my diploma was from Romania. And then I had to get some recommendations from former professors of mine. And I haven't been in touch with them after graduating. So I was trying to find them on the internet. What's their email address, Facebook? So I had to have 2 recommendations. And I found the professors. I wrote them. I asked them to give me a recommendation letter. They wrote it. They mailed me. And so everything came by priority post. On last minute, I really went to Suwon, which is a bit outside of Seoul, and handed in my papers in person, just few hours before the deadline. And so I made all that effort to apply. And then they realized that I was missing 1 document. So everything was kind of in vain.
Wow, no way.
But the interesting thing is that I felt relieved because I didn't really want to study. I was like, wow, this is a great opportunity, and I would get visa and I would get knowledge. But what I wanted to do actually was I wanted to work. I wanted to create something new. And now I'm here doing this podcast and I'm so happy. I think I don't regret it at all. But I also don't regret the whole process. because I learned a lot through that process as well, that you really can go for something and don't give up even if the deadline is so short. But on the other hand, I just didn't really want it. So I don't think we have to regret what we have done, or like we don't have to be disappointed if we are rejected. Just try to reflect back and see, and maybe again, like reconnect to your 8-year-old self. I think, sometimes we are just like, sometimes we are distracted by like money or fame. And I think what you said, like this 8-year-old self is this like innocent and creative person. So reconnecting to that inner child and asking yourself, what would I do if I were 8? I think that helps a lot.
I know. I think exactly, I relate with you so much. It's because like I don't regret that I applied to Harvard. Because I learned so much throughout that journey. And one of the things, as you mentioned, is I learned about myself a lot. And once again, I think I made a decision out of other people's opinions or acknowledgments. Like I thought that, once I go to Harvard, once I work at Sesame Street, I will get all this acknowledgement and praise by other people. But that was not who I was and what I needed at that moment. But once again, I think after that result, after the result, I realized that I kind of to be true. Well, I kind of forgot to be true to myself again. And again, as you mentioned, I remember that who I was, and again, reflecting back on childhood really helped a lot. I shared my list. So I'm this person. So for me, I don't need to choose the safest or well-known choices. Like, I don't know, what do you say, like well-known choices?
Like maybe the popular ones?
Yes, exactly. Popular choices. But I just need to make a choice for myself that my 8-year-old self will also be satisfied of.
Wow.
So
I think with that we can conclude today's podcast. Big thank you for coming and sharing your stories. Really impressive, and good luck on your future journey.
Please wish me luck. Thank you for having me. And I think this journey podcast, by talking about my life here, it really helped me immensely to really reflect back on my life as well. And I think this would be a great platform for people who also who value their life and who wants to really live well. So I am really looking forward how this journey podcast will end up and what kind of journey this podcast will have. So I'm really, as a fan, I'm gonna be supporting you.
Oh, thank you so much.
So thank you for having me, and thank you for hearing my story.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.